Have the Seattle Kraken finally stopped scoring goals? They put an embarrassing 8-2 beating on the Canadiens Tuesday night at the Bell Center. We'll talk about that and analyze where the Canadiens stand 10 games into the season on this week's Hockey Inside Out show. Hi there and welcome to another episode of the Gazette's weekly Hockey Inside Out show. I'm Stu Cowan of the Gazette and I'm joined by my regular partners here, former Canadiens teammates and Stanley Cup champs, Chris Nyland and Rick Green. So after the 8-2 loss to the Kraken, Canadiens head coach Marty St. Louis said it was a hard game to evaluate and then he'd have to rewatch the video before laying any kind of blame. Rick, was it really that hard to evaluate?
Well, it was really hard to watch. And, when you see something, happen with 5 goals and 10 shots, poor start 25 seconds in, just like everything seemed to fall apart from that point. And again, the goaltending obviously really struggled. And, we've discussed the importance of their goalie being their best player each and every night. And when they're not standing on their head, chances of them having any success is not that great. But, if you look at the overall picture of their game, it just looked like they lacked intensity. Yes, they got down early. No excuse. They didn't play with the emotion that I've seen them play, on other games. And again, just defensive zone breakdowns where they just missed their job and what they were supposed to do. And you got guys all over the place and giving up way too many chances point blank in front of the net. And that has to get fixed real soon because they're not going to win any games.
Knuckles, what were your takeaways after that?
Oh, God. It just, okay, I said bad start, down 1-0. Then next thing, 2-0. I'm like, what? Then 3-0. It goes back to the same stuff, So they win 2 games. Great. But that team looked totally lost on the ice. I don't care. I know the coach said the blowout against New York, they got dominated, but last night it was different. They got dominated last night. I don't care what you say. You can't candy coat it. I don't know if anybody has any passion on this team. The passion look at Josh Anderson. Every scrum I see, he's like the last guy to get in there. He should be the friggin' first guy. There's a lot of young kids on this team. He should be the first guy with his nose in there. And nobody got mad. The last 2 minutes they stopped pushing and shoving? Come on. There's something going on there. They're young. It's a rebuild, all this shit. That's got to stop. Enough's enough. It's like they don't battle. They're not it's so hard to watch, I
know after the game, your buddy Guy Carbonneau on Lotte Charm Knuckles was saying, they showed a clip of him back when he was coaching going on a bit of a rant saying, if you don't work hard, you're not going to win any games.
No.
That seemed to be the case again last night.
It's ridiculous. Like, guys have bad games, I get it. But when the whole team is like that, like, I know the coach said some guys, but they weren't on the same page. Listen, I think Evans and Gallagher busted hump, right? Those guys come to work. I get it, but I don't know. They don't have that one guy that. Now I'm just going to give an example. Alexander Radulov. That guy played with passion, grit. He just wanted to win. He dragged the team into the fight. He was one of them guys. They don't have a guy to do that. Who's the guy?
Yep.
Name me one.
Nux, you talk about battles and, watching that game and Kraken with similar record going into it. And I watched over and over again when it came to one-on-one battles, how many times the Kraken were the ones to come out with the puck, majority of the time. And that's something that is unacceptable. When you want to have some success, you have to win the one-on-one battles. You have to compete. And they're not doing it. And the result is they're doing more chasing than anything else. And it's really disappointing to see that guys are not digging in and getting upset to the point where I'm disappointed with what's going on here. I got to make the difference, and I have to physically get involved and maybe battle a little bit harder, because if not, we're going to lose again.
Well, as you mentioned, Knuckles, who's going to drag him into the fight? Arbor Xhekaj is one of the few guys who looked pissed off throughout a lot of the game, but I think he's sort of afraid to go overboard, right? Because he might get in trouble.
Yeah, I get on. I do too.
Off, like with 20 seconds left in the game when he tried to throw the guy over the boards, and then I'm still sort of waiting for Marty St. Louis to get pissed off in one of his post-game news conferences. And I thought after that Kraken blowout, that might have been it, but he was just sort of, as you said last week's show, Rick, sort of leaving crutches lying on the floor for guys to pick him up.
Yeah, that's not his style, I guess, to do that, and that's okay. But if that's not him, how will guys respond to it? Will they? If he comes out and gets pissed off, maybe he gets their attention. I don't know. I kind of look at this style. It's hard to figure out how they play, other than try and forecheck and then keep a third guy high. But it seems like they play high risk hockey, and they don't have any sustained time in the offensive zone. Like Gallagher, Evans, and Anderson got the forecheck going a few times there, and they seem to every game. And then the rest, it seems like they never get in there and really control the puck. Or with Greeny's talking about one-on-one battles. I was asked last night, what would you do if you were the coach today in practice? Greeny talk about one-on-one battles. I do all even strength drills, and show them what it is to work. Here's where you work, not skating from side to side or laps or none of that crap, but one-on-one battles, right? One-on-one drills, 2-on-2 drills, 3-on-3 down low, 3-on-3. Just, man, it got to do something. It seems like they're confused to me. I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah, you can tie those one-on-one battles into which a large part of it comes down. Again, we harp on it over and over about your defensive zone and making sure that you drill into their heads, because I still find some confusion as far as what they should and shouldn't be doing, where they should be going, should not be going. And it's really tough to see that. I mean, I watched Mayu last night. He basically identified that one of the Kraken players was his. So he took off from the front of the net all the way out to the blue line, even though it was a non-issue, the Kraken player, and he just stood beside him. And meanwhile, the puck came back down to his side in front of the net that ended up, with a good scoring chance. So the X's and O's will always be a part of the game. And I just have a hard time, and I think sensing from what I'm looking at, they're having a hard time understanding where they should go and should not go. And they need to identify that and get that corrected. And again, we've talked about it before, but that has to be directed to the players, because there's way, way, way too many good chances coming from breakdowns in the defensive zone.
Yeah, like how about the face-offs, right?
Yeah.
Face-offs are pretty simple in that you mark your guy. You know who you have. I look at that Montour goal, the second one off the face-off. There was confusion there. Kirby Doc goes to the outside. He gets trapped. Montour goes all by himself, wide open. I just couldn't believe he was wide open. And then Kirby tries to get there. He went the wrong way off the draw. You got to know the shortest avenue to pick up your player, the direct line to him. And, man, it seems like they're confused off of draws. I saw it on another goal with Struble in front of the net. He went to the inside when his man was on the opposite side on the faceoff dot and outside the faceoff dot, and he should have went to the inside. He would have been right in his face. They come crazy. I think it was, I don't know if it was the third goal or I got to look at it, but I looked at it like crazy. But it's just a ball of confusion.
Well, Marty keeps talking if it's a one-off or it's a habit, and it seems the face-off problems seem to be sort of a habit. I mean, I know, Rick, you weren't head coach of the Canadiens, but you were assistant coach under Claude Julien. What's it like in the coach's room after a game like that before the coach goes in and faces the media?
Well, I mean, let's face it. You look at the mistakes that were made, and then you try and analyze, why and who's responsible. And this is a process here where you have to identify it, and each guy has to know what their job is. And I'm not sure that all of these guys know exactly where they should be, and this is not good, because you get guys that are doing something they shouldn't be doing, and it just causes confusion. And that's what I see. And it's tough to watch and continually see the same type of things happening over and over. And I just look at the Kraken. Watching them play in their zone, they come back into their zone and they basically take away the middle of the ice, and everybody kind of sets up shop and they work from there. And very seldom did you see, and again, Canadians weren't a huge threat on any of the cycles, but they kept everything to the outside, and everybody seemed to be, aware of what they should be doing. And hey, they support the puck well. They're very disciplined, and these are the areas that allow teams to progress in the right way. And the progression is not happening for the Habs right now.
How about you look at the 3 stars of the game last night? Montour, Schwartz, and who was the other kid? He played in Vegas, won a Stanley. They all won cups.
Mm-hmm.
He's a center iceman. Second star. I'm terrible. Anyway, those 3 guys. They're gritty players. They're gritty players. And those are the type of, you look at Montour, not real big guy. He sticks his nose in there, gives it, not even the goals. I don't care about the goals. The way he plays the game. And other guys, young guys, see that. There's a lot of young guys on this team that just, I don't know, they seem lost. And it's okay to get blown out. How many times have they given up 5 goals this season?
4 times in 10 games they've given up 6. Yeah.
So, you can say we keep talking about the same stuff, but you keep seeing the same stuff.
And if we got games blown out back in our day, and of course, different era, but I tell you what, if something like that happened, I didn't even want to go out on the street, because I'm afraid somebody was going to come and slap me in the side of the head. But, it was just like, you don't want to go there. And they're going there way too often.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, the fans have been remarkably patient during this rebuild. But against the Kraken, there was some mock cheers after Montembeault made a save after he let in 4 goals. There was an ole, ole, ole chant with like 8 minutes left in the game. They got booed when they left the ice. Knuckles, as a player, what's that like, and how should they react to that?
It sucks when the fans start booing. Believe me. I mean, if we tied a game, they boo us. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. They're getting a taste. They're gonna get a taste of what it is to play in this city, and I think it's starting now. The fire's been lit. I think some people are starting to get fed up. I don't know. I saw Slavkovsky. They asked him about what happened tonight, and he said, "Oh, I'm sure you guys will figure it out." It's already getting to him. Here's a young kid who, he's a young kid. Yeah, he's still a young kid. Yeah, he's been here 3 years now, all that. But, boy, yeah, they're going to find out soon. And it's not going to be fun. But I don't know. This management team is also starting to see what it's like, I think. Mm-hmm. They've seen it from afar, but now they're starting to feel it, I think, a little bit. And people are getting frustrated. You can't blame them. And I think they know that, too. I think Jeff Gordon knows it, and Ken Hughes knows it, and it's a bit frustrating. Listen, they're a little bit hamstrung with some of the things they can do. They got a lot of kids here, It's like a boy band a little bit,
Yeah, a lot of contracts are stuck with, too. I mean, Christian.
And there's going to be some pain with that, right? There's going to be some pain with that. I remember, Rick, we went in '86 when all those young kids come in. We had like 10 rookies, right, came in. Mm-hmm. But they had guys like Larry Robinson and Bob Gainey. leadership on the team, that, Bob was that go-to guy. Larry was that go-to guy. Guys that could help those young guys with certain things, You got these young defensemen coming in. Peter Svoboda came in. I remember Chelly came in. Who they put him with right away? Larry. He was able to hold a hand while they got through some stuff. You got Abba Jack guy looking over, and he's got another rookie with him, young kid. Abba's only 22 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I someone asked me last night too about, geez, he gave the puck away, this and that. Listen, there were a lot of mistakes last night. That one ended up in a goal. I saw him, Suzuki trying to beat a guy at the offensive blue line, breakaway, right? Abba's going to hear about it because they scored. But I liken a guy like Abba with, not the best example because he's more of a fighter, but Rod Langway came here. He was raw. He wasn't the best skater. He wasn't the best puck handler, none of that. Claude Rurel took that guy and shaped him, molded him. They worked with him. And then, man, what do we see? The guy goes and wins a Norris Trophy one day. They have to do that with a guy like Abba and Struble and these young guys. And that's a lot when you have them all there at once. That's a lot to focus on. And they're going to make mistakes. I get it. But collectively, when the whole team is in the dumper like last night, I don't know, something going on. I don't know what it is. Can't put my
I feel bad for Arbor. Just watching him, he seems a little confused on what he should be doing.
Tentative.
Right? This is all confidence
he's lost his mojo,
he's lacking, and he's probably concerned about he's hearing rumors about this and that and the other. He's a young kid that's still trying to figure out how to play at the NHL level. I think he's a real good player, and I just hope that they find a way to manage him to get him back, because he can be really effective. And again, right now there's some confusion as far as the style of play that he needs to do, but he's very hesitant and his confidence is shaken. And you got to get this guy back because he's a big part of that group back there. And he will get better, but you got to make sure that you handle him the right way so he doesn't have to hear the music about maybe he's going to be out of the lineup again, or maybe he won't be playing every game, which should not happen for a kid like this.
No, because you were talking about all the rookies back in '86, and you're talking about Larry Robinson and Bob Gainey. But I know Mike Lawler told me the story. You had a meeting with the rookies, right? And
I just expressed to the guys that, listen, it's great, everybody's here, but we got to stop always looking to Larry and Bob to do it. They're the leaders on this team, but it's almost like we're waiting for them to do it. Oh, we'll rely on them to do it. You got to take more responsibility to each guy and be assertive out there. And, I didn't put in those words, but move your is what I said. But no, you got different guys on the team that can do stuff like that. When you have some of those veterans, who's the grizzled veteran on this team? David Savard, one guy, right? Really? Josh Anderson should be one of those guys. I don't know. I don't see it. And Gallagher and Evans, those guys. Yeah, but I don't know. Because, I remember if we weren't going well, Bob Gainey said something. You didn't need the coach to come in the friggin' room. You didn't need him to come in the room. Bob and Larry said something. Hello, guys, listen.
Yeah, but you also have to, bring back Red Fisher talking about a guy that would make you accountable. And I remember him coming up to me and saying, "Rick, you're playing horse shit. I'm going to write about you tomorrow." And I said, "You know what, Red? You're right." And I took it as motivation. And it's interesting because, today's players, you have to be really careful on. I'm not a big fan of publicly criticizing the guys, but they have to be held accountable, however, behind closed doors or whatever. And I know
Stu, are you taking the hint?
Yeah. Well, Red hired me at the Gazette, and I remember he always drilled it to me. And many things he drilled it to me was criticize but be fair. And I think that's what Red was, right? He wasn't overboard. He wasn't, and as you said, Rick, when he did criticize you, your ears perked up.
And you know, that was a great exercise for me, because I said, you know what? If I don't want to read negative comments or hear negative comments, then you do your job and you get your act going. And, you know, today's players, I wish that they would say, you know what? I'm not playing the best, and yet I'm still able to get away with not playing the best. But I have to find a way to use that in motivation so I don't have any type of, behind the scene criticism, if you will. And anyways, when we looked around the dressing room with the group we knew when we looked at the faces of the guys that were in that room, we knew what we were going to get each and every night. And anybody that was new to the team said, "Woof, I better follow suit, because I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb if I don't do what these kind of, guys, veteran guys, were all about." And everybody, pulled the same rope, and we had success because of it. So yes, it's tough. You got a lot of young guys, a lot of inexperienced guys, but let's get on board with, okay, let's dig in, and let's really care about making the difference each and every night, and not just being satisfied with almost getting the job done, because you can't win.
Well, Knuckles, Suzuki's a really young captain, right? Is that maybe factor in? Like, is it difficult maybe for a young guy like that to speak up the way Bob Gainey and Larry Robinson would in the room?
Well, does it carry the same weight? I don't think. But listen, Nick is a very cerebral guy, right? He's chill, not much bothers him. He comes across like that, right? You ever see him mad?
Yep, no.
Like, Nick comes across like, and he's a nice kid.
Mm-hmm. He's a quiet leader.
Yeah, he is. But I don't know how he is in the room. I can't. I don't want to speculate, but just looking at his personality, it's like Bob Gainey. But Bob had checked off a lot of boxes, and he got to the point where he's captain. Hello, Nick hadn't checked them off yet, and he's the captain, the leader of a bunch of young guys and a couple veterans. But I just don't know, because I've never had a young captain like that, right? Mm-hmm. And does his voice carry weight in the room? I would think Brendan Gallagher's voice would maybe carry a little more weight, or Jake Evans or Savard, but those are the older guys, and they didn't name them captain, one of them captain for a reason, like a Gallagher. And what was the reason behind that? I don't know. And I'm not saying it's the captain's fault. We're talking about leadership and what they do, and I really don't know how Nick's voice carries in the room, or if it does,
Mm-hmm. I think they were thinking with Nick, with the younger captain, a younger team going forward, they wanted somebody who was definitely going to be around for a long time. I mean, I thought when Shea Weber was named captain, I thought Gallagher should have been named captain, because I think he'd embrace more of what being captain is in Montreal with the media and everything else like that. But, Nick's been solid, solid player, shows up every game. But you're right. You wonder if a young voice on a young team carries the weight that it did with Bob Gainey. And obviously not. And that's not a knock on Nick Suzuki. That's just reality. This is reality of the situation. Anyway, for the Canadiens, it's been sort of, they won those 2 games on the weekend. It looked like they got things back on track, take a big step back now. They go on the road. They're back in action Thursday against the Capitals, and then Saturday against Pittsburgh. Hopefully for the Canadiens, they can get things back on track. Anyway, for us, that's it for this week's Hockey Inside Out show. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with a new show next week. In the meantime, please make sure you like and subscribe to the Hockey Inside Out YouTube channel. Go to montrealgazette.com/newsletters to sign up for the Hockey Inside Out newsletter. And of course, go to hockeyinsideout.com every day, where you will find all the latest Canadiens news. Also, please leave your comments on the show in the comment section below. We always like to know what you think about the show, and we love to hear from you. Talk to you again soon.